Diversity is one of our greatest strengths. Within our 5,000 publicly funded schools, all our students must be able to journey confidently toward their goal of becoming personally successful, economically productive, and actively engaged members of society. To inspire our students, to help them to build strength of character, and to promote resiliency in the face of adversity, we have, as educators, a moral responsibility to do all we can. Specific initiatives supporting diversity ensures that all our students, regardless of their gender, gender identity, sex, and sexual orientation, will grow, learn, and succeed. These are anchored in human rights legislation. Yet some data indicates that a number of members from the LGBT community still feel unsafe at school. 5 directors of education share their own experiences with diversity in our schools with each other and with you. You'll find their testimonials candid and, we hope, inspiring. Martin, can you please share with us, as director, how have you fostered a caring, safe, and inclusive board-wide culture for all your staff, students, and community members?
That's a great opportunity to talk about a couple of things that we've focused on in the Durham District School Board. The goal of the educator network in our board is to create a safe, welcoming environment for students and also for staff, where all opinions are respected, where all sexual orientation is respected. We see that as a major goal in creating safe learning spaces for all of our students. It's been very successful. The LGBTQ Educator Network provides wonderful input to our school board on things that we can be doing together to create those safe, welcoming spaces for students and staff. At the community level, our Officer for Equity and Inclusive Education works with the PFLAG locally very closely. It's a great relationship, and in conjunction with PFLAG, the board has been hosting LGBT Family Voices, Family Engaged projects now for a couple of years. Interestingly, for both the LGBTQ Educator Network and the LGBT Family Voices Engaged project, that's open not just to individuals who are LGBT, but to their allies as well. So again, it's part of creating that overall safe and welcoming environment.
I think Martin makes a good point about the partnerships. The partnerships enabled to be able to do things to support our students are really critical. And in Greater Essex, we have the wonderful opportunity to work with Windsor Pride, who are very supportive partners, and also Nancy and Rob Campana, who are parents who run an event called Run for Rocky, where they do fundraising to raise awareness around LGBT. And they also donate funds from that run to programs that students can apply for in the board, and there's been some exciting things that have happened as a result of that. So wherever we can, partnering I think is critical to supporting students. At PFLAG would be another example of that, and those community partnerships, especially when we run our GSA conferences in Greater Essex, we have lots of great partners with the University of Windsor and with all of the people I mentioned to be able to run great things so students get voice and get a forum wherein they can feel comfortable talking about their things that concern them.
Francois, could you please share with us some of the ways that you are monitoring and assessing your progress in fostering board and school cultures in which students, staff, and community members who identify as LGBT are safe, accepted, and included?
Merci beaucoup. Ça me fait plaisir ce matin de pouvoir partager justement une des pratiques réussies au niveau de notre conseil, c'est de s'assurer lors de notre sondage qui est effectué à chaque 2 ans, comme dans tous les conseils scolaires, d'avoir les bonnes questions, puis de poser, puis d'analyser surtout les résultats de ces questions-là. Donc, on a fait un partenariat, puis on a travaillé avec un chercheur de l'Université d'Ottawa ainsi qu'un psychologue, une firme spécialisée, afin d'analyser chacune de nos questions pour s'assurer que les élèves comprennent bien les questions, que les parents comprennent bien les questions et que nos employés également, afin d'aller chercher le plus de données possibles qui parlent et qui vont nous permettre de bien cibler avec quelle communauté travailler. Donc, on a eu des résultats intéressants. Depuis 2 ans, on est capable de vraiment voir justement est-ce qu'il y a des tendances, est-ce que certains élèves, tous les programmes qu'on fait au niveau de l'intimidation, au niveau du climat scolaire, ont porté fruit. Donc, si dans une certaine région, justement, il y a peut-être un haut taux d'élèves qui s'identifient LGBT et qui parlent peut-être de pensée noire au niveau de santé mentale, au niveau de problématiques, au niveau d'idées suicidaires, on est en mesure de cibler dans chacune de nos écoles les interventions à poser poser, puis de justement amener l'aide nécessaire pour nos parents et nos élèves. On partage nos résultats, bien sûr, avec toute la population, le comité de participation de parents, les conseillers scolaires, les élèves, le Sénat des élèves également, ainsi que les employés, pour être en mesure de justement réaliser l'ampleur parfois de la problématique dans leur école. Souvent, on croit qu'il n'y en a pas de problème, puis il y en a une problématique. Donc, c'est important de l'adresser. Donc, ça, c'était un succès, puis s'assurer de continuer de faire le monitorage de ça.
One of the things that we've done also with our surveys is that we're asking all of our schools to do responses to it. So what are the strengths that we've identified, and then those areas of weakness, what are the plans for the school to respond? We've gone the next step, and we have a student senate, which are composed of the leadership, the student leadership from each of our schools. So we're asked them now, from your point of view, and what you have seen in terms of how students responded, is what are the students going to do? And we've really seen that they put another lens to it from their point of view, and we've gotten some very interesting initiatives that are taking place as a result of that.
Linda, you've been a student success leader and you've worked at the Ministry of Education, and now in your role as Director of Education, could you please share with us how you've established a culture of acceptance and belonging for all students within your school district?
I think one of the things is we really have to be clear in terms of our communication. When we say equity and inclusion, what is it that we're talking about? And I think we really learned that with respect to school improvement, that we really needed to be clear on what our goals are. So for me, in communicating, equity basically is justice. Are we treating everyone who comes into our building justly and fairly? And when it comes to inclusion, it's hospitality. Does everyone who comes into our buildings feel that sense of welcome and hospitality? And then lastly, with diversity, it comes down to sharing of our gifts. So as director, I think I have to be clear so that everyone understands what we're talking about when we're talking about equity and inclusivity. And what I found is a strength is the students. And we've really used our Student Senate, which is comprised of all of our student parliament members. And one of the tasks that we give them when we meet with them right in September is what are the ways in which you're making everyone feel welcome into the school. And we have clubs that are really taking belonging into the larger perspective in terms of making sure that everybody feels that welcoming. And it may be that student who is in the cafeteria who doesn't have anyone to eat with them, and it's noticing that. One of our schools have adopted where the seniors open a door for the other students for those first weeks. So they do that in the morning, they do it at lunch. And while these are all little things, it's the little things that create that culture in the school of belonging. And it's something that we can never stop doing. You have to pay attention to it all the time and be attentive to it. And I think right now, in some cases, our students are taking the lead for us on that.
Linda, you commented on the importance of weaving equity into school improvement. I think that's a really important point. Locally, we make sure that we're paying attention to equity and inclusive education, specifically supporting our students who are LGBT in building our board improvement plan each year. So it's important. Our equity and inclusive education officer is an important part of the building that we do to create our board improvement plan. From that flow our school improvement plans. And it's important that we make sure as a board that we're building that in quite specifically across all areas of school improvement throughout our system. That our officer for equity and inclusive education reports to the superintendent of programs, whose responsibility it is to lead the development annually of our board improvement plan. So the relationship there ensures that we have the proper building in our minds built right into what we're doing for our board planning and for our school planning annually.
Mark, what steps has your school board taken to engage and respond to the voice of the LGBT students and their allies, both at school and within the system? And in responding, could you please share a specific example with us?
Donc, comme à peu près tous les systèmes scolaires, on a des clubs au sein de nos écoles secondaires, naturellement. Ce qu'on fait aussi, c'est qu'on encourage fortement les élèves à participer lorsqu'il y a des activités communautaires, et on en a eu à Sudbury. Donc, on a toujours des groupes d'élèves de nos écoles secondaires environnantes qui peuvent participer à ces activités-là. On fait aussi de la formation auprès de notre personnel. On a eu un animateur culturel qui est ouvertement gay, qui est venu former nos directions sur les différents types de communautés. On pratique de la formation, mais je pense qu'une des choses dernièrement qu'on est vraiment fiers, c'est que les policiers de la ville du Grand Sudbury avaient monté une vidéo sur la communauté transgenre qui a été reconnue par la Commission des droits de la personne ici en Ontario. Et l'école secondaire McDonald-Cartier, un groupe d'élèves avec un groupe d'enseignants, d'enseignantes, ont traduit ce vidéo-là et maintenant on s'en sert pour de la formation au sein de nos équipes.
C'est intéressant, Marc, puis je pense que c'est important de travailler avec nos communautés d'après. Puis, ce qu'on a remarqué justement pour les clubs, au niveau du conseil scolaire, nous n'avions même pas de politique qui disait ben comment on forme un club, c'est quoi un club, qui doit s'impliquer au niveau des clubs. Donc, on s'était assis, on a rédigé une politique pour s'assurer d'inclure tout le monde. Que ce soit des jeunes pour toutes les activités qui encadrent une école, puis la vie scolaire, puis la vie étudiante. Puis justement, les élèves qui voulaient former un club, que ce soit LGBT, que ce soit pour d'autres genres de clubs, avaient une place, puis c'était vraiment bien encadré, puis on pouvait les supporter dans tout ça. Puis ce qu'on a remarqué, ayant des plus petites populations peut-être étudiantes dans nos écoles secondaires, il n'y a peut-être pas 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 élèves qui étaient prêts à former un club LGBT. Donc, ce qui s'est produit, c'est que les élèves se sont justement formés un club, mais ça peut être au niveau de la race, au niveau de la langue, au niveau de toutes les autres formes d'intimidation. Donc, c'était vraiment pas un club LGBT, c'était un club contre l'intimidation, toutes les formes d'intimidation, bien sûr celle-là. Puis les jeunes ont fait des annonces au micro, ont fait des journées de sensibilisation, des journées thèmes pour justement sensibiliser les élèves. Donc, on était capable de les supporter, puis c'était vraiment bien fait avec que ce soit un travailleur social, des enseignants qui pouvaient travailler avec eux.
Erin, in your role as director, could you share some of the successes that you are most proud of in relation to supporting students, staff, and community members who identify as LGBT?
In addition to developing an inclusion trans policy and offering training to support that policy, Greater Essex has also had experience in supporting staff who have transitioned. And that experience has led to the development of some professional development for others and to support both our staff and our students. The PD has been offered in our board and also has been requested in another board in Ontario. We have had a couple of experiences with students as well that I think have been handled well. We have a student who is transitioning into a workplace experience, and there was a lot of work done with the worker to make sure that that transition was smooth, worrying about washrooms, change rooms, etc. And that was all very supported by the workplace and the family, and went for a smooth transition. In addition, we have a very young child in the primary grades who is gender fluid and dealing with that. And so the family was very supportive in a conversation about use of washrooms, because the individual was going into both washrooms, and depending on how they were dressed, it was questioned a little. And so as a result, we met with the family, and the family agreed that we would use the early years washroom, which are gender neutral, and everybody seems happy with that solution. So listening to the voices of the parents, of course, is critical, and finding out what that exclusion looks like for that student, of course, is critical. And I think we've come up with some good solutions just by being open and listening to the voices.
Puis je pourrais rajouter que la voix des parents est très importante, puis d'écouter et de communiquer. Nous avons eu une élève qui a fait cette transition-là aussi dans notre système, et c'est d'accompagner et d'être accompagné par le parent, d'accompagner les élèves et de former les élèves et d'informer toute la communauté et apporter les gens tranquillement et de suivre les étapes. Je pense que l'élève est important là-dedans, et lorsqu'il décide, lorsqu'il est prêt ou elle est prête à changer et à faire la prochaine étape, c'est d'écouter et de travailler ensemble.
Aaron, you commented on the importance of sharing, and I think that's a fantastic point. We all develop expertise in certain areas in working with our students and our staff and our community who identify as LGBT. And I think it's really important that we be willing to share those successes. Personally, I'm very proud of the work that our staff have done in Durham on working to create GSAs in all of our secondary schools, and we've begun creating GSAs in elementary schools. That's directly in response to student voice, interest and requests at some of our elementary schools, and we've received tremendous support from our local PFLAG Durham and from AGAL, who have been wonderful to work with in helping us provide resources and training for our schools.
Martin, could you share with us how within your board you address issues connected to intersectionality and diversity within the LGBT communities?
In the 2012-2013 school year, we partnered with the Ministry of Education and with a neighboring school board on a project that was entitled Beyond Intersections, Equity, Diversity, and Social Justice K-12. The goal of the project was to create a toolkit which was provided as a support to all of our schools that supports the schools in creating safe and welcoming spaces for their students, but also supports the teaching and learning agenda and student achievement, which is really, really important for school boards. It's been a well-received document by schools right across our region. Specifically, in this last year, our LGBT Educator Network partnered with the Durham Black Educators Network to hold a special one-day session, and our keynote was Trey Anthony, who's a Black lesbian actress and playwright who penned "Da Kink in My Hair," and she spoke to a collection of students from across our board on intersecting realities and intersecting identities of students, so really seeking to address all areas of marginalization for students.
Beginning with Mark, we're going to go around the table, and if you could just highlight a lesson learned through your experience in supporting your LGBT community.
Je pense de notre côté, c'est de l'importance de l'inclusion tout en respectant la différence de chacun et d'apporter nos élèves, nos communautés à vivre ceci dans un environnement qui est toujours en changement.
A couple of the key factors that we've learned in our agenda is that students matter and their voice matters, and we have to really listen to their experiences to be able to understand, not make assumptions about what we think that experience is. I think it's also very hopeful that we have students who really care and who really are ahead of us in many ways, and I think we have to listen and learn from them.
I think the important part out of this is that the community is interested, that we're trying, and that we're being transparent about it. It's okay to be involved with the community. They want to know that we're about more than just talk. Talk is cheap. They want to see that we've got actions, and we're willing to attend Pride events, we're willing to attend LGBT events, and we're willing to engage.
For me, it's all about relationships, being present to and listening to the needs of our students. And in the teaching and learning of math, we've adopted a growth mindset. And I think when it comes to equity and inclusion, it's adopting that strength-based mindset that we're seeing and recognizing the strengths in each of our students.
Un petit peu comme Marc mentionne, je pense que c'est toute l'inclusivité qui est important. Étant dans un conseil catholique, souvent la perception, c'est qu'un conseil catholique, on n'accepte pas, mais c'est tout le contraire. Tous les élèves sont acceptés, sont à l'image de Dieu, puis on continue de travailler avec nos communautés, la pastorale et nos enseignants pour justement inclure tout le monde. Tout le monde est égal, tout le monde est différent, mais tout le monde est accepté.
In order for students to do well in school, they must feel that they are in a safe learning environment. How would the students in your school describe how they feel?
Just the amount of diversity that we have in our school and all the different clubs that we run. We have so many different sports teams, and for people that don't like sports, we have anything that you could really think out there, and it really makes our school unique because we have something for everyone. So a person's never left out. They can always find someone that's just like them.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about my school because it's not primarily focused on sports teams and things like that. It has a lot of other clubs for people that don't necessarily like sports, like Sci-Fi Club and Anime Club. And also my school has a lot of focus on the arts because it has a performing arts program. So we've got every type of arts club and sports and like other things too. So yeah, it's really cool.
Do you believe that your school responds appropriately to acts of discrimination, harassment, including homophobia?
Well, at cathedrals, if there's a problem with harassment and you find someone that you can trust, like an adult or one of the vice principals, and you go to them, and they will deal with it right then and there. And if things need to go further, they'll go above them, or they'll go to the board or something to help you overcome whatever happens.
At my school, it's dealt with an in-school suspension, and you have to do a project to show that you don't plan on doing it again and to educate yourself.
Bullying and harassment are hurtful and therefore unacceptable behaviors. Could you share with us how these behaviors are dealt with within your school community?
We have the Nyawa program. It's where students can go and they can talk to Melissa Button, which is the Aboriginal Youth Advisor, and they can talk about their feelings and problems going on with their life.
At my school, we have a similar sort of club, our Social Justice League, which deals with a multitude of different issues surrounding social justice for everyone. And any kid from grade 6 all the way to grade 8 is allowed to go in and join, though we have everyone involved in the club in some way.
My school has an anti-bully club called the Good Samaritan Team, or GST. So once a month we wear the red shirts that I'm wearing right now. And it helps you reflect on what kind of person you've been in the past month and what you can do for the months to follow to become a better person. It's really a really big anti-bullying initiative, so we don't just tackle one issue, we tackle all the issues of like the spectrum. So it's really good because we have different assemblies and different activities, and it all just goes around that. We're just trying to put down bullying in general.
Moi, je crois qu'académiquement, c'est plus ou moins. Puis la raison pourquoi je pense que c'est plus ou moins, c'est que les enseignants, ils sont super connaissants, ils nous apprennent des choses qui nous fait penser, puis ils nous équipent pour le futur. Mais quand ça vient au curriculum, la façon qu'ils nous appuient, c'est vraiment, je trouve pas que c'est vraiment efficace. Alors, en disant ça, je veux dire que les cours d'histoire, c'est pas obligatoire de nous apprendre des choses ou l'histoire de LGBTQ, c'est facultatif. Alors si les enseignants veulent nous l'apprendre, c'est à leur choix. Mais au niveau de l'infrastructure, ça aussi, je crois qu'on pourrait être aidé, mais le gouvernement vient juste de nous donner un don, alors on va travailler demain.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. Oftentimes in school, I'll feel very left out, having my culture, both as an Aboriginal person and as a queer person, just completely avoided in all history classes and all language classes. It's my culture that is all left out.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. I think in order for students to really have like a full, enriched learning style in school, we should know about everything that's happened, especially in history classes, like being an Indigenous person myself as well, and also being queer. I feel really left out in history class and also especially sex education class, because although it's kind of a taboo topic, it also is, it's a very important topic to learn about in school. And when I was in grade 8, we didn't learn anything about, if you weren't straight, the class literally didn't apply to you. So, I don't know, I think it's very important to include history like Stonewall and residential schools in the curriculum, and it should be mandatory because it creates better citizens for the future and stuff. So, I don't know, there should be changes that are made.
Umi, you've just joined the school community. Could you share with us how you feel about being a part of the school?
I feel great. I feel awesome. I feel amazed. I have friends. Oh my gosh. I get to go 4 classes each year. I really like being here with my friends.
I think it's so awesome that you're accepted into your school. I feel like that's exactly what school should be. There shouldn't be any barriers letting anyone learn. Whether it's your gender, whether it's your sexuality, whether you have a disability, it's really what you make of school, and I'm so glad that you're having like fun at school. It's exactly what school should be.
Yeah. Well, couple of days ago this year, I wanted to move out, but my other friends that I have lunch this period, they don't want me to move. So I made a big decision with them that I will stay here with you guys so they don't be worried or get lonely without me.
Can you share a time when you've been an ally or you've known of a student who's been an ally towards a member who identifies as belonging to the LGBTQ community?
Pour commencer, notre école, c'est une école qui est plutôt petite, c'est une petite école. Alors, il y a environ 135 élèves. Puis, s'il y a un incident où il y a quelqu'un qui est en train de ne pas respecter quelqu'un ou les droits de quelqu'un d'autre, j'utilise cette grandeur d'école à mon avantage, puis je vais parler à la personne. Je vais essayer de les partager d'autres expériences peut-être. Je vais essayer de les dire l'effet qu'ils peuvent avoir, l'impact qu'ils peuvent avoir à long terme sur la vie de quelqu'un d'autre qui est en train d'intimider. Puis de là, j'essaie de trouver des solutions. Alors, je peux aller parler à ma direction, je peux aller parler aux membres du personnel, puis j'essaie d'utiliser leurs ressources pour appuyer les élèves, ceux qui se font intimider, puis aussi ceux qui intimident les autres.
I have the difference of my school being very large and there not being enough staff members to talk to because of how large our school is. So I go out of my way to give people my phone number and have that accessible for people to have a person to talk to.
Can you share a story of how you personally helped someone during a difficult time?
Well, at Cathedral, we try to respect everybody, but personally, whenever someone's feeling left out of a club, I will go out of my way to make them feel welcome and try and incorporate them in all kinds of clubs. And if they don't feel comfortable in that club, I will try and find a way to make them, find a club for them. And I usually bring people to the Nyawa program because I feel that that's where most people do connect very well, because we have people from all different backgrounds and religions and different beliefs, so we all kind of just connect.
Alors moi, je trouve que c'est vraiment incroyable que tu es engagé dans ton milieu scolaire, que tu es engagé à à apporter un climat scolaire plus positif. Moi aussi, nous, à notre école, si je me rappelle d'un moment où j'ai aidé un élève, c'est un élève qui a intimidé quelqu'un d'autre, je l'ai apporté dans notre club pour une semaine. Puis de là, il a essayé d'apprendre le plus qu'il pouvait, puis il a appris de ses actions. Puis de là, il nous a aussi donné des suggestions quand il est parti. Il nous a dit, c'est ça que j'ai appris, mais c'est ça que vous pouvez faire de mieux la prochaine fois. Alors on a pris cette situation où quelqu'un a intimidé quelqu'un, puis on a vraiment tourné cette situation en une situation plus positive pour tout le monde.
I would like now for everyone to have the opportunity to share some concluding thoughts.
I'm happy I'm at school, and I am happy that I have good friends here at BR, and I really enjoy being with my friends here. I guess I'll have...
Though I believe my school excels at being an accepting environment for everyone, the next step is for both staff and students to educate themselves in areas of need at the school.
I think the final thing that I want to add is that a lot of schools and lots of people nowadays will say that they're accepting of all these things like LGBTQ and different backgrounds and different religious beliefs. But I think if you're going to say that you accept those things and that you're an advocate for those people who are sometimes left out of things, you need to take the initiative and actually do something about it and not just say that you are okay with it. For example, I think every, if not elementary but secondary school should definitely have at least one gender-neutral bathroom, because so many people identify as transgender or genderqueer. And also every school should have like a GSA, just so that everybody really knows that they don't just feel accepted, but that they know that they are.
Alors, je crois que la dernière chose que je voudrais ajouter, c'est que je suis super fière qu'on est tous ici aujourd'hui, qu'on est ici pour partager nos expériences. Comme ça, le ministère va prendre ces situations-là, puis nos expériences, puis tout ce qu'on a appris, pour eux aussi appliquer ça aux nouveaux documents produits, les curriculums, etc. Mais je dirais aussi que je suis super fière qu'on est engagé comme des adolescents. On a beaucoup de préjudices ou des stéréotypes qu'on ne fait rien, puis on est tous paresseux, mais ça, c'est pas du tout le cas. On est tous venus aujourd'hui, puis l'information qui a été partagée, c'est l'information qui est de bonne qualité.
At my school, there's many misconceptions about smudging and how we do it. So as a Nyawa student leader, I find it my responsibility to inform my fellow classmates and students about what smudging is and how it's important in Aboriginal culture. And we incorporate smudging in our masses to help bring awareness about what it is. And we invite classes down to come to the portable to have smudging teachings.
Well, at Cathedral, many students will ask what the medicine wheel is, and it's a symbol of everything, how it's created equally, and how everything on the medicine wheel represents the circle of life and how everything is constant. So when we give our presentations, we try to incorporate everybody and ask as many questions as we can for the students to actually be involved in the teachings. So when we explain the medicine wheel, we try and explain to them that everybody's created equal, no one's better than anybody else. And we also try to show them and explain to them that no matter who you are, everybody matters most.
I feel one thing that's really important is for students and teachers to know that being different is okay. Some people do identify as minority groups, and it's really important to educate yourselves and to educate others about differences.